Hi, hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jer and we are talking Boulay Brothers Dragula 666 episode 5. This is Dragula the Rusical. No. Hi, hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jer and we are talking about Dragula 666 episode 5. This is Dragula the Musical. There it was. So we gotta talk about Majesty not returning to the competition because this is huge. Last week, this is what I suspected was going to happen. I suspected that maybe Majesty said, I'm done, and the Boulays, I think, hit it right on the head of the nail, is that Majesty probably thought, this is not worth fighting over for another season. I am not gonna battle these people. I came here to do what I wanted to do. And I'm trying to do that, but I'm distracted by all of these other external factors, so bye, I'm out. And I respect that. I think anytime someone leaves a drag competition in order to focus on their mental health, that was the right decision. That was the good choice. I don't think there's ever a selfish response to that from us as the viewers. I know some people's inclination is to go, well, there are people that would have been cast that wanted to be here, but that's not who was cast. They were not cast for a reason. The Boulays wanted to see what Majesty was going to do, and they did what they were going to do, and that's what they saw. I think that is actually much bigger than sticking it through and just pushing yourself to the brink of depression and darkness in your own life for the sake of television. No, I'm glad that they left on their terms, and I'm really glad that Vivi and Gray both got another chance and got another week to show what they could do, and I loved the format of this episode. It was so good. At the beginning of the episode, I knew that Majesty was not coming back because the monsters come in pairs, and I liked this conversation that Pai and Asia both had with each other about what alliances were going to realistically look like based off of how the show ended. I was actually kind of gagged that they didn't separate Pai and Asia for production purposes, just to see what was going to happen if their alliance would hold true, if Pai or Asia would fight harder to try and keep the other one out of the bottom. I think that would have been really interesting to see, because the Boulays don't and are probably not interested in making television like that. They're not interested in splitting up relationships or causing television harm or fan harm to their contestants, which I absolutely love. But that sort of malicious, like, teehee energy does kind of want to see what would have happened if Pai was in the winning group and Asia was in the losing group, and then you got these contestants saying we should put Asia in the bottom and let her squirm, and then Pai trying to convince everyone, no, this is not gonna happen, we can't do that, and trying to have a good logical reason why Asia shouldn't be there. That would have been fascinating to see. Or vice versa, with Asia fighting really hard to keep Pai out of the bottom. I would have loved to have seen that just in the silly producer hat type of a way, but I'm really glad with the way that things shook out. It was interesting, to say the least. We have a musical challenge this time rather than the typical rock challenge, which was a big departure from what we've been getting for the last several years. I believe Gods of Rock started in season 2 and has progressed every single season, and I love it as a legacy challenge. But sometimes legacy challenges can get a little tired, and sometimes us as the viewers have a little dissonance. Like, we've already seen this so many times, there's only so many ways you can perform rock. Give us a little reprieve and let us experience something else. And Alaska is a legacy judge as well, so having her come back and getting to showcase something that she's working on and figure out how to do a Dragula spin on it was really cool too. So we have our two teams, the Rat House and the Snake Den. For the Rat House, I felt kind of bad because Vivi did not know one single note of rhythm. Just Mariah Carey, I don't know her, fully lost 3 beats ahead. And I am someone who's not very good at live singing. I sort of switch up my tempo and move things around where they're not supposed to be so I can try and find notes because I'm not musically trained. And it is hard. That is not a challenge that everybody can do. I will say from the Rat Den, Yuri was my favorite. She was the standout of that group. I loved Yuri's energy this week. I loved their presence. I loved their characterization. They were, in my opinion, the winner of that group. And I mean, they're really turning things around since falling out of that plane. I did love Gray's characterization. They had my favorite character, but they didn't have my favorite performance. That belonged to Yuri. Conversely, I didn't like Yuri's characterization. So if you had squished them together to make some weird morph baby monster, that would have been perfection. And then we have the Snake Den, where everybody performed really solidly, I thought. They were all a little apprehensive in their movements, so I was worried that they were gonna be the bottom team, but their characterization was really good and their vocals were really good. Aurora was hilarious. Aurora was actually my winner this week. I really liked that they played this terrified non-monster trapped in a monster group and trying to get out but has been stuck here and can't. It sort of read like that tropey 2002 scene girl who's not really a scene girl is just sort of trying to fit in and can't leave because they already have the nose piercing with the safety pin and they've already taken Sharpie to their nails and they physically can't get out of the group now. They're locked in. And their vocals were good, their characterization was funny. I really liked what they did, and humor always goes a long way with me. Pi was excellent. I loved their vocals. I loved everything that they did. Asia was a little flat for me, but I don't think that was their fault. This might not be their typical gig, so I think their performance struggled because this is not their normal thing. Not everybody can do everything. We saw Neohuru kind of flub in this challenge because being a rock star isn't really Neo's thing. But it wasn't even that they were bad, it was just not what the challenge called for, and I think that's very similar to what Asia was experiencing here. And on that note, Asia is my winner right now. Asia and Pi, actually, this whole group is my top 4 currently. I'm really loving Aurora every week now. She's found her stride, she's on an uphill. I hope that this energy continues because she's really leaning into what she's good at and not trying to be someone that she's not. Obviously, I'm Team Asia and I have been from the start. She is my winner. I'm loving Pi more and more every week. I'm really getting their drag. I'm getting their character. They're opening up more. This was a great week for Pi, starting out the episode, discussing the alliance, being a little more of a manager role in the group and then winning the challenge. This was definitely their moment to shine. And then Jaharia, I'm really loving their drag. I'm loving them more and more. I'm loving their personality. I feel like they're opening up more and are being less shy on camera. I'm seeing more of who they are and I'm liking this presence that I'm seeing. However, I also love Auntie Heroine. So I don't know which one of these two are the top 4 right now. I don't know which one of these two is going to make it there. And obviously top 4 is going to whittle down to a top 3, but who's going to be there for you? I don't know right now of those two. So initially in the cauldron, after they win the challenge and are told, the winning team gets to choose who the bottom 2 are. Everybody's talking about putting Auntie and Gray there. 2 big competitors, get one of them out. Knock out one of the strong competition. And I, personally, think that's brilliant. On the other hand, I like a fair competition, and the objective worst ones in the challenge were Auntie and were Vivi. So which is the better decision for your end game? Fighting against the best or knocking out one of the best at the midpoint? You might not get another opportunity to knock out someone. I would be tempted to take it. I would be tempted to do it, but also understanding that would put a huge target on your back if those people don't go home, if the stronger one doesn't go home. And I mean, you can't take it personally, it's a competition. Some people will, and some people will say, oh, I can't believe you picked me, blah, 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 blah. Whatever, they could be mad. I would have chosen the 2 of them and gotten one of them out, personally. But maybe that's just me being a competitive person, because again, you might never have that chance again. And you can count on someone flubbing the next week. I'm just glad that they did not put Yuri in the bottom because they did not deserve it. Yuri is fantastic. And I love that they did, what is that Jarvis called it? A lip sync roulette? I love that they did that again and did a lip sync challenge. It was really emotional and charged and cool to see. I liked this song, but Vivi didn't do anything. Vivi seemed like they gave up. The moment the music started, they were just sort of standing here in a box. I don't think they ever moved outside of that box. Like if you literally picture, they were trapped in a coffin and they did not move outside of that coffin. Sort of just emoted here and emoted there and emoted here and emoted there. And we didn't get any variety in the performance, so they just couldn't go anywhere. And rightfully, they got exterminated. I do think that if Vivi had tried for even half a second, I think that Auntie would have been out because I think that Vivi can perform. You can see it when you look at someone. You know how to do this. But I imagine it's sort of demoralizing to be in the bottom last week and then have another chance only because someone dropped out. Knowing in your head, I could have gone home. I don't know if I would have, but I could have gone home if this person hadn't dropped. And of the two, I think it is more likely they would have kept Gray. So knowing that, you're probably only there because someone dropped out and you didn't get a fair shake to actually stay, and then you're in the bottom again at something that you should be good at, which is stage performing, and then you have to lip sync. I don't know if I would be able to mentally take that. I think I would be a little demoralized. I think I would be a little devastated. I think I wouldn't really do much on stage either. You could see that Auntie really wanted it and fought for it, and I'm glad that they did. I think that pretty much covers everything in this episode. There wasn't a ton to discuss because a lot of the episode was full of choreography and vocal training, which I like that they did that. I like that the Boulets expressly show in the final edit how much work goes into creating this type of challenge in the end result, because it doesn't leave us thinking that anyone got sabotaged. And I especially like that the challenge did not seem like it was sabotaging anyone. A lot of times in Drag Race, they will do this thing where someone will get an ensemble role. The comedy queens, I think of in Shade the Rusical, who are clearly not meant to be forefront characters. And I like that this particular musical didn't force anyone into a background role. They all had equal opportunity to fail or succeed on their own merit. And I like that. I like that Dragula is always creating this space for them to do that, to succeed or fail based off of what they do in the challenge, not based off of getting a bum-ass role that they are not going to be able to do anything with. So that leaves us with the end of this episode for now. Who is in your top 4 as of right now? I'm very curious. Let me know in the comments below, and I will see y'all next week for another review. See you on the flip. Hey, thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, make sure to click that like button. And if you want to see more, hit subscribe. Goodbye.